you.
My lords, ladies and gentlemen, it is so good to see you on this glorious day of October the 2nd, 1871. As you are all aware, this century so far has been one of fantastic scientific achievement and technological discovery that no one could have ever imagined. We see wonders of the world at great exhibitions. We've seen new modes of transport and shipping, discoveries in medicine, photography, electricity and communication on the postal service. And not to mention the first flushing toilet. This revolution has given Great Britain a booming rise in economic prosperity and a manufacturing industry that boasts the biggest in the world. Just this year, Her Majesty Queen Victoria opened the Albert Hall of Arts and Sciences, containing the biggest organ in the world. Welsh journalist Henry Moulton Stanley continues on his expedition in Africa to find the great explorer David Livingstone. The British Empire continues its glorious expansion across the world. Today, we celebrate one of the greatest marvels of this modern world that Okehampton has ever experienced. The country's 13,000-mile railway has been extended further 14 miles to include Okehampton. The steam railway is coming to town. Prosperity is assured. Okehampton will be connected to the United Kingdom, and in less than 10 years, the line has been constructed at great expense, £133,000. Men toiled, sweated, and died in building our railway. The government in 1862 passed the Act of Parliament in order to build the railway. The argument for and against has been lost in time, but with a little imagination and even greater artistic license, we have recreated the debate for that argument. Not only that, but...
Order! Order! Would the vociferous and verbally afflicted person kindly desist from conversing with such pomposity, overindulgence of factual information, and extreme amplitude?
Sorry?
Stop talking!
Oh!
Order! Order! Now we come to the question of a new railway too. Mr. Clark, is this a misspelling? Okay. A new railway to Okehampton! Mr. Smith!
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. It is my privilege to speak for the motion. It is 200 miles from here to Okehampton,
Eternity, more like.
and my first-hand experience illustrates the time and disadvantage of being a small town at such a great distance. 2 days ago, I set off from my home in Devonshire by carriage to get here in time for this debate. It is with good fortune I'm here at all.
Not for all of us, it's not.
Order!
Thank you,
Would the honourable gentleman please refrain from his interjections? Mr. Smith!
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I continue. The roads are extremely busy and in perilous state of repair, full of holes and in places deep enough to sink a chamber pot. At one point, I barely escaped with my life, just beyond Honiton on the arterial 303 road, when a young firebrand, barely out of short breeches, spurred on his horse and swanky carriage to overtake a whole line of carriages at a point where the road widens. I can report, Mr. Speaker, that in the resulting devastation of a head-on conflagration of carriage, horse and driver from the opposite direction, the blockage of the not-so-freeway was complete. the disentanglement of which took many hours and not a few tots of brandy to accomplish. 2 days, Mr. Speaker. That's how long my journey took. The same journey by steam locomotive would have taken a mere 6 hours.
Well, at least that saved us a day and a half of windy speeches.
So, Mr. Speaker, I conclude, in order for Okehampton to benefit from connection to the modern world, increase its potential for business, and share in the prosperity currently afforded the rest of Britain, and allow more visitors to avail themselves of the delights of Dartmoor
And the prison.
and Devonshire, it is imperative this railway should be built.
Mr. Jones!
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. In all my life, I have never heard such codswallop. Why do we need these noisy, odorous, fire-breathing metal dragons roaming the countryside, dropping soot and ash on our green and pleasant land we call England?
And what about Scotland?
Here, here. What about Wales?
Couldn't eat a whole one.
Ruining the landscape with ghastly iron tracks, monstrous bridges and ugly viaducts. All just so people like the honourable gentleman opposite can get to their business a bit faster. This is nonsense, Mr. Speaker. Whatever next? Huge enclosed carriages full of passengers flying aloft all over the place on steam-driven flapping wings? Or deep under the ocean in metal containers as dreamed up by that fantasist Jules Verne? Or perhaps shot into the heavens inside a projectile aimed at the moon? Railways are a fad, Mr. Speaker. A passing fancy, which I have no doubt will disappear within a few years when they see there is no profit in it. Mark my word, the horse is king in this country, and roads are the future.
So speaks the owner of several stables across the country, not to mention the carriage manufacturing works.
And what of the proven scientific fact that speed is harmful to the human body, causing all sorts of damage? Even Her Majesty, the Queen, refuses to travel on trains and go faster than 30 miles per hour, Mr. Speaker. The force of air into the lungs at such high speed will cause violent ague and imminent distress. Speed is dangerous.
Aha! That's why your horse came last at Newmarket last week.
Order! Mr. Smith.
Thank you. One day, Mr. Speaker, the world will benefit from an abundance of modern railway transport. People and goods will be moved comfortably and speedily to their desired destinations, bringing prosperity and economic stability to rural towns and communities such as Okehampton, maybe even the continent. I hear plans are being drawn up, fantastic as it sounds, for a tunnel under the channel. The railways are the making of a modern society.
Never, never!
I close this session.